Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all doing well. And today, my friends, we're back with a showdown between Khorne and the Beastmen. It's going to be Skarbrand facing off against the double Gorgon, Jabberslythe, and Bray Shaman combo, which should be quite a bit of fun. I was about to say, if you guys are tired of seeing 20 stacks, you want to see some elite big monsters fighting kaiju battles, we are here. It's going to be your boy Skarbrand versus a bunch of Beastmen monsters. Now, as far as the build goes, I figured that the Beastmen would have Razorgors, Centaurs, big monsters, Minotaurs. So I thought the halberds would be the correct direction to go. So we have 3 halberds in the front line here, anti-large, armor-piercing, what's not to love. A couple of cultists for sustained fighting, and honestly, in terms of fighting enemy monsters, they're not bad. These guys are really, really good stats. 73 melee attack, not bad melee defense, shields against any sort of peppering throwing axes, and in general, I'm a big fan of almost always bringing the double cultist. Skarbrand the Exiled, looking extra cool. He's certainly outgunned here, as he is going to be facing off against double anti-large Gorgon, so I have to be really careful, but I mean, Skarbrand is a character that even if he gets his butt kicked, if you catch your opponent slipping once, you rampage them and just go crazy with his attacks, he can definitely get some big work done. One of my favorite characters to use in the game. Bloodshrine just there to buff. It's pretty nice. It does heal itself, but it gives melee attack and leadership. I'm a huge fan of having the Bloodshrine just sit on a side objective because basic infantry simply can't kill it, right? They're going to need something a little bit heavier. Now for Flying Taco's build, it's going to be double Gorgon, really good. And what's crazy about Gorgons is they have the good healing. They have the Gore Feast, or not Gore Feast, but the Strength from Flesh, which gives them 0.20. So they have the big healing ratio. A lot of units kind of fluctuate between 0.10 and 0.20, but 0.20 is the good stuff. And you know, percentage-based healing on high HP monsters like Gorgons is insanely good, right? So you got the Gorgons to fight my Minotaurs, my monsters, anything big. He does have the Jabberslythe to clear out infantry, Goreherds just to kind of absorb in the front line, and a Buna caster as well. Buna is just so good against Khorne. All of Khorne's infantry are generally pretty pricey with the exception of Marauders, and you know, Chaos Warriors, most Khorne players are going to bring them just because they're so damn cost effective. So Buna is always a good choice to just kind of spam on halberds and other threats like that. So the backfield, my first summon is going to be some basic Marauders, and on the other side, it looks like Flying Taco sent some old Ungor Spears over to the far side. So they're going to be chilling on that objective here. And now we're just going to be lining up and having a little bit of a face-off. So Chaos Warriors of Khorne versus Goreherds. Goreherds will trade pretty well in the halberds, but overall I believe the halberds would win, but they cost a lot more. So Breath Attack, trying to farm some kills. I did bring all the items on Skarbrand just for fun. I wanted to have Rage Embodied and just all the goodies. So we have the Rampage, we have the farming ability, which is his item, Slaughter, and Cartage. So as he kills things, he basically gets more and more damage, which is really fun. When you see Skarbrand sitting at 800-900 weapon strength, it's a super exciting thing. Evil Cackling of the Gods about to go down here, so Buna's going to be on the Chaos Warriors. It's a nice cast. Going to do a lot of damage, very cost effective against such units. High ground, we do see cheap Ungors on all the objectives, and I do summon in my first anti-large units, knowing that he is going to be mainly trying to carry the game through his big threats. So we do get the anti-Gorgon units, at least as far as I know. The Minotaurs of Khorne. We'll have to see how they trade, hopefully well. Marauders moving over here, going to be contesting this objective, and obviously this is going to be the epicenter of combat. He's got all his big boys over here. I have some halberds that I can move over. Buna did about half health, so not too bad, honestly. Very similar to a Pit of Shades, right dead center, so I was pretty happy about that. So going to pull back the Marauders here. Don't want to give him a freebie. He's got Centaurs coming in, Sons of Goros, which are really, really good against demons. If you guys are Beastmen players, bring these against any of the demon factions or factions that bring demons because they do magic damage. So against Khorne Fleshhounds, it makes them exponentially better. It's like 20% damage buff, right? There is the Spirit Leech going down to Minotaurs. I believe they have a little bit of spell resist, so it won't do that much damage. Certainly going to tickle them a little bit. Basic Khorne Marauders will obviously beat the brakes off of these Ungors here, and in the middle, we are now engaged in combat as the 2 cultists do chase down the Jabberslythe, doing some okay damage against it. Halberds and Bloodshrine battling against Gores should be pretty favorable. And now your boy Skarbrand's just going to be farming some skulls. That's what it's all about. So 684, and now he's up to 687. So every time he attacks, 690. See, so it keeps going up. It's probably one of my favorite mini games in Total War, just kind of keeping track of Skarbrand's progressing value. So we do overextend one of the Gorgons. That was kind of the idea, to bait them back. And we're going to be trying to beat this bad boy down. And Skarbrand's laying a whooping on this guy. Big beatdown. Fire damage will mitigate some of the healing efficiency. But Centaurs are coming in. Fleshhounds intercept these Sons of Goros, which is going to be a really bad trade for me. Plus Flying Taco has his great Bray Shaman here. So are things that are going very well for me. One of the Gorgons is already down to 20%. Skarbrand is an absolute monster. 1,000 plus weapon strength with the Wrathful Reaper. So badass. And the other Minotaurs of Khorne trying to get those anti-large attacks on the other Gorgon. So this is a really, really strong start for us. We go up 41. But the problem is, starts like this, if I don't manage to kill the Gorgons and they just heal, then all that is for naught, basically. I do summon in some Furies from the Vanguard just out of desperation, basically to try and help my Fleshhounds win the fight. So we do rear charge these Sons of Goros. So that trade ends up going a little bit better. And your boy Skarbrand is now getting 2v1 by these guys. And the Minotaurs, they're trying to help, but it seems like they're not doing as much damage as they usually do. These Minotaurs, I've had just incredible experiences with them where they hard carry, but here it doesn't seem to be the case. So a couple of cultists have come over, so we got 2 of those. Halberds moving over from the middle. We dominate the middle fights pretty well, and we're up at about 1,000 value, but he has healing, I don't, so take that with a grain of salt. Halberds versus Gorherds, middle objective is ours, and I will be summoning in some Marauders to try and take that side objective. I figure that's a pretty good opportunity to get that while he is focusing most of his resources here. I have to pull back Skarbrand. You know, he takes a lot of damage. He's down to about 3,900 HP. The Gorgons actually have a lot of HP left, and they're healing for a ton right now. These guys are just feasting like the Heathen Kings of old, healing for 0.2, so certainly not happy about that. A little bit of a breath attack. Skarbrand's base weapon damage now, with the buff that he has fueled by rage. So when he gets below 50% HP, he gets a buff. So he's at 854 right now, which is just insane. So if I do manage to catch something, especially with the Wrathful Reaper active, he can certainly start farming some skulls. So we get some throwing axes in here, trying to get a little bit of ranged, safer DPS. End up piling in to make sure they don't catch Skarbrand there, and trying to hold the fight. I figured it'd go well. I have some halberds, I have the double cultists in here, but honestly, none of my units are able to DPS through the Gorgons. They just heal through everything. Jabberslythe, of course, a really nice anti-infantry tool. So Flying Taco has managed to equalize the value, and as a matter of fact, he's probably up by about 500-600 right now, taking into account the healing that the Gorgons have done. You can see I had one down to like 20%, and it's already back up to almost 50% HP, so that healing is no joke. Cultists going to be summoning Bloodletters, so the Bloodletters not that great against much here, but they do give you an unbreakable bastion upon which to fight. And, you know, damage is damage. We do also bring over the Blood Shrine. Figured this is the big fighting, so let's get the Blood Shrine to buff the melee attack of all my units. And Skarbrand's just kind of waiting on the wings. I know if I get close, he's going to double Gorgon me, and I'm going to get beaten down pretty hard. Spirit Leech going down on your boy, the Exiled One, as he does kind of peel back. And I think he's faster, 80 speed against 64. So he is faster than the Gorgons. You know, he drinks the Red Bull. He's got the wings. He's good to go. Fleshhounds trading pretty well. Fleshhounds do defeat Centaurs head-to-head, not Sons of Goros, but they do defeat basic Centaurs, at least in my testing. That was a while back, though. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, I don't think anything's changed, but yeah, Fleshhounds should be pretty good in that trade. Their stats are just really, really strong, and of course, the fact that they're unbreakable lends the advantage to them. So, value, okay. Healing, though, mitigating a lot of that. We do have an overextended Jabberslythe here, so the Horn of Khorne has been sounded once more in the deep, as Skarbrand's going to be trying to farm, man. Going to get in, try and take the business there to that Jabberslythe, as we do see the double Gorgons pushing back here, and Skarbrand's just going to have to straight up run right now. I throw in the Marauder Horseman just out of a super desperate play, just trying to keep them from killing my Lord. The Bray Shaman, I think, is still in pretty good shape as well. You can see the Bray Shaman's at about 60%. I do have my double Cultists, though, and they take a long time to kill, so I'm going to move those Cultists onto the objective. Meanwhile, it's actually going okay up here. We do have our Marauders in a little bit of a 3v1, but they might be able to win with the help of the Furies. Furies do pretty good DPS against light armor. You can see a massive HP drop on the Ungor herds here, so I'm hoping that the rear-charging Chaos Furies and the Marauders of Khorne are going to be able to win this objective for me, especially since I do have the Blood Shrine coming up, so the Blood Shrine is going to be an outstanding tool for breaking these. That'll give me a double cap, which will allow me to kind of maneuver and cause some problems. We see the double Cultists here. Of course, we have 3 capture weight apiece, starting to capture the objective, so this is kind of turning into a very, very close game here. Skarbrand, though, is on death's bed. He's only got about 2,000 HP, so what we really need this game is going to be a big pick. We have some Vestigors coming in. Vestigors, in theory, should be able to beat Chaos Warrior Halberds, although Vestigors often lose fights that you're a little bit surprised about, but the Exiled One is here, the Wrathful Reaper. So cool. Just Skarbrand makes me want to collect a Khorne army in tabletop, but I'm a little bit hesitant to buy like the Khorne models until I know more information about the old world. I just want to see if they're going to make new models, and Skarbrand's model's pretty up to date. The Soccer Kick of the Gods coming in as the Vestigors start to get broken pretty badly, and Skarbrand's base weapon strength at 761 right now. The wounds profile does lower his base weapon damage by 20%, so as big characters get damaged, they do lose stats in Warhammer 3, which I think is a really good change, for sure. Over here, we do see the Ungors starting to run, so they're being chased down by the Khornate followers and the Blood Shrine, able to kind of hold this objective down. So we do have a double cap. Over here, we have the Bloodletter summon, but overall, the Jabberslythe and the double Gorgons are able to beat down my Cultists. They're good fighters and all, but they're fighting a lot of heavy, heavy punch power here, and it's not going to go well for them. Now, this is the comeback, baby. We got the ambush here on the Great Bray Shaman. So the Great Bray Shaman is in some serious danger, guys. And you can see he's broken right now. Skarbrand's just all over him as I do pull in some Furies to battle the Harpies here. Skarbrand at 718, 2200 HP. Gorgons are coming across. They know they're in danger, but if I can get the Bray Shaman and kill the Beastmen Lord, that's going to be a big leadership win. I also pulled some Fleshhounds around, so I had them nearby, and I just get a little bit of a surround. And your boy, the Bray Shaman, is going to be going down into the pits. It looks like 900 HP. Skarbrand just needs to hit him twice here. Fleshhounds, of course, buttering him up a little bit. We do shatter the Bray Shaman there as he's just getting whomped on by the Wrathful Reaper. And we do have the Gorgons coming in. So this is pretty much the end of Skarbrand. So what I do in this case is I turn around, I prepare to fight, and I pop the ability, the Khorne Army ability, which actually makes him unable to die, which is really, really good. So it's going to give Skarbrand quite a bit of extra fighting time. So we do have a double cap. Still ahead. My opponent's still ahead here. We do have our Minotaurs of Khorne coming in. They didn't do super well for me, but honestly, I don't have too much anti-large, so I just kind of have to go for them. Skarbrand's at 1 HP, and it looks like he is going to be going down. So farewell, sweet Skarbrand. You will be missed. I know. You got to go back to Khorne and do your thing. But yeah, those Gorgons, man, have been monsters. Look at them. This one is almost at 1800 HP or value. This one's at 2300, and they still have a lot more to give. But in the middle, Jabberslythe's going to be going down. The Halberd boys able to get those nice anti-large attacks, so the Jabberslythe will be breaking. Minotaurs of Khorne dominate Centaurs in combat because they have 70 armor. Beastmen Minotaurs would probably struggle a little bit more, but the armored Minotaurs are going to be very good. So, bouncing back and forth, running over these fellow Beastmen. And now we're going to be turning back around, attacking these units, just kind of playing ping pong as we go back and forth and back and forth. The high ground objective is being swarmed pretty heavily, but the Blood Shrine and the Halberds are holding on pretty well. But overall, I think the Beastmen might be able to get it here as they do not have the numbers. And man, it's going to be really, really tough to deal with these Gorgons. I am up in value, but he's probably actually ahead by about 1,000 to 1,500 with all healing being taken into account here. So Minotaurs of Khorne moving in to attack the Gorherds, the Halberd boys fighting bravely. This is my last chance. If the Halberds and the Minotaurs can actually trade well and drag down the Gorgons, I might have a decent chance here. But the Gorgons are a little bit better at attacking in situations like this because it's hard for the Minotaurs in a blobbed infantry kind of saturation to get the surround on the big SEMs they want to fight, whereas the Gorgons can just single target the Minotaurs out and with their high weapon strength start picking them off. So one of them is almost healing cap. The other one's probably really close to its healing cap as well. On this side, we do have some Marauders and Fleshhounds coming across, but really, really good play by Flying Taco, summoning in the Sons of Goros. They will be countering a lot of my Fleshhound mobility. On the high ground, it looks like we are holding on to the objective. The Blood Shrine is just such an awesome piece. It puts a melee attack at these Marauders up to 50. It itself is pretty good against infantry, not a ton of value, but the buffing and the sustained presence is really what you're paying for. It's like 3 capture weight, basically. That is just so hard for the Beastmen to get rid of. And this one objective has been perpetually going in our favor, and it's one of the things that's really keeping in this game here. Minotaurs of Khorne, we pull back, we try and lure one of the big boys out, and we do a fair amount of damage, but the Minotaurs end up losing that fight. Sons of Goros going to be coming in, and on the other side we see Gorherds. I do summon in some Horsemen, and we have a little bit of fight left in us, but overall, guys, this is pretty much going to be GG. At this point, we'll do a little bit of fast forwarding, break down the matchup. I just simply can't deal with the Gorgons and their healing. They're both healing capped, and both of these Gorgons have gotten close to 3,000 value, 29 on that one, and that one at 25 as well. So really, really well played. That was a super, super fun game. Here you can see the Gorgons going to be coming up to clean up the high ground objective, trying to get away with those Marauder Horsemen, but the Centaur is able to counter them pretty effectively. They get a couple Fleshhounds for a little cheeky last-minute dive in the middle objective, sending some dudes to the far side, but yeah, I just could not deal with the monsters, and really that's what this matchup came down to. It was a bit of a kaiju fight, right? The Cultists are pretty good for grinding, but maybe against Beastmen, I do need to bring more like heavy fighting power. That's kind of what it felt like this game. Skarbrand was really good. He was being 2v1, 3v1 by giant monsters. He almost killed one in the beginning. He killed the enemy lord. Skarbrand was not the problem here. I think my, army comp could use a little bit of work, and we'll break it down, and I'll give you guys some feedback based on what I would change going into that matchup again. So the Halberds, I actually don't think were a good choice. They did okay, I guess, in trading, but I do think the Shielded Warriors might be more pertinent because they would actually kill the Gorherds quicker, which would then allow my Minotaurs to get better surrounds. So I think that's something to be considered. Skarbrand did pretty good. He just about paid for himself, not quite. And yeah, for the Beastmen army, you saw it. I mean, the Gorgons hard carried. Nothing else in the Beastmen army did that good outside of the Sons of Goros. It was really just a hard carry from the not the Jabberslythe, but the Double Gorgons, which just dominated my Minotaurs, killed my SEMs, and we were just able to heal up a storm, which is crazy good. So very well played, the Taco. We're going to jump over to the Army Select screen, and I will show you guys what I would change going into that matchup once again. Honestly, Valkia probably is a safer bet also. Skarbrand's really badass and really good, but Valkia is just so strong. She's infantry size, so she could fight the Gorgons all day and they wouldn't be that good against her. Demon Shield, so probably in retrospect, you just go Valkia, but we'll go to the build screen and show you guys what a more competitive Khorne vs. Beastmen build would look like. All right, so here we are. Let's do a little bit of army building. So we're going to get Valkia. She's honestly one of the best characters in the game. And you would just get the Demon Shield and the Spear of Sleipnir. Sleipnir would be good at clearing out chaff. Now, as far as the base army go, I actually think Shielded Warriors. And we would come in and open with a lot of Minotaurs, I think. Either that or you could go with the like Khorne's Bloody Fist and these type of characters. But I don't want to give up on the Minotaurs. I feel like they're pretty good. Like, this is very simplistic. And I do think that this would be able to blunt the force of that attack. Just with the sheer numbers. Now, obviously, every army and its dog of Khorne is going to be maxing out on Fleshhounds. Probably just one Horseman. They didn't seem that good for me that game. We can have a Blood Shrine for a little bit of sustainability. I did like its performance that game, and overall, basic Marauders. And maybe do we go with like one big Bruiser just to rule them all? I don't think Soul Grinders are the way either. We could also go with the Bloodbrute Behemoth, honestly, guys. We could do something a little bit like this. Like, go Bloodbrute Behemoth. Yeah, that actually feels pretty metal. And then we would want to find a way to bring some more Minotaurs and reinforcements. So Bloodroot Behemoth plus Skarbrand could actually be a really nasty combo. But yeah, we'll give the Beastmen a little bit of their own love, right? So we have our Bloodroot, we have Valkia. Skarbrand's just so cool, though. I really like using him. You could honestly cut the Minotaur and cut Valkia and get Skarbrand in that opening, and it would probably work pretty well. I don't hate the idea of some spawn either, although I feel like the spawn would probably get dragged down, but they have a 160 weapon strength. They might be okay against a lot of the Beastmen units. Yeah, little Ungor Spears and things like that. One Fury's probably enough. Let's just cut the Horsemen for now, and we want to get another Minotaur in reserves. That's good, because, you know, not everybody's going to go double Gorgon, so you need to still kind of play a little bit more of a well-rounded game. But these Chaos Warriors will trade really well. If they try and bring Bestigors, you just have a Minotaur jump in and help out, and that should solve the problem, and or even like a Blood Shrine or something, right? But I do like this opening. I feel like that's pretty good. It's going to be able to contest that quite a bit. Spawn is the one thing I'm kind of thinking about here. I don't think any of the Demonic Infantry are really good. You could do some Forsaken, actually. I like that idea because they would be able to get to the front lines a little bit quicker, and we can go dual wielding boys. Although, man, they're a lot more expensive, huh? So we have to do that. You definitely need some Marauders. So maybe, man, cutting a Fleshhound feels wrong. So we'll just cut the Fury. Fleshhounds are just such an incredibly good unit. They're so good. And then, oh, look at the perfect spend, baby. This is the way. GG, well played. Great game by Flying Taco. Here's the counter. I think. Give it a try. Let me know your thoughts, and we'll see you on the other side.